First of all, congratulations. Another win, another record. Tell me, does the feeling still the same? Does it kind of go away a little bit now that almost every time you step out onto the track, you're toppling these stadium records wherever you go?
No, I think I never get really used to it. I enjoy it so much. I enjoy racing here in Stockholm always a lot. I felt some pressure today. I wanted to perform well, and to be able to run a meeting record, it's really nice.
And so, obviously, you're happy with how the race went. Could you walk us through it a little bit? Anything changed? Anything different from normal?
I think compared to Rabat, we really wanted to work on the second bend. I had a feeling the first 200 was fine, not extraordinary, not bad. And then I really wanted to keep the speed as high as possible. I think it worked because my end time is also better. And for my feeling, I had a better feeling around the hurdles. And the last meters were tough, but it's 400 hurdles, so can't expect much different.
If it's worth it, it didn't look tough. You looked like you were absolutely cruising to the finish line.
Didn't feel like it.
So last time we spoke, you spoke about the changes that you'd made to your training, the changes you'd made to the setup of the season. Are you happy with that so far? Are you liking the way that it's turning out for you?
Yeah, I'm really liking it. I think the technical part is starting to become a bit automatic, so I'm happy after only 3 races it's already like this. And now I'm actually going to 2 400 flats, which I'm also really looking forward to. It's something different, it's different opposition, it's different kind of pressure, so I'm enjoying it a lot.
Well, congratulations again, and we'll be looking out for those 400 flats and that speed for you.
Thank you.
When the women's 400-meter hurdles lined up in Stockholm, it wasn't just another stop on the circuit, it was a statement stage. The race took place at the iconic Bauhausgalan, part of the Elite Diamond League calendar. Stockholm has a history of fast times and historic performances, and this year the spotlight was firmly on one athlete, Femke Bol. But this wasn't a solo exhibition. The field included established international competitors, championship finalists, and seasoned hurdlers capable of pushing the pace early. Athletes who may not always dominate headlines, but who know how to apply pressure over 400 meters. In hurdles, that pressure matters. One mistimed step, one clipped barrier, and the race changes instantly. What made this race especially significant was timing. Mid-season Diamond League meetings often reveal who is building toward championship form and who is simply maintaining. Stockholm is not a rehearsal, it's a measuring stick. Perform well here, and the message echoes across the entire circuit. For Femke Bol, the stakes were layered. She wasn't just racing for points, she was racing against expectation. Every time she steps on the track now, the question isn't whether she will win. It's how fast she will go. That changes the psychology of the event. Rivals run differently. The crowd reacts differently. Even the pace of the race shifts because of her presence. And then there was the record. The meet record in Stockholm carried prestige, a benchmark left by elite names of the past. Breaking it wouldn't just mean winning. It would mean rewriting part of the meeting's history. Running 52.11 wasn't simply fast, it was controlled aggression over 10 barriers, a performance that combined rhythm, strength, and absolute confidence. This race was notable not only because of the time, but because of how it was achieved: smooth clearance, consistent stride pattern, no visible panic between hurdles. A technical masterclass under competitive conditions. But to really understand what made that 52.11 so powerful, we have to look at how the race unfolded step by step, because records are rarely accidental. Going into the race, the atmosphere around the track in Stockholm was tense, but not chaotic. It was focused. Everyone knew exactly who the reference point was. Femke Bol entered the start list as the clear favorite. Not just because of her recent results, but because of the way she had been racing all season: controlled, dominant, and technically flawless. When Bol is in the field, the conversation shifts. The race stops being about who might win and becomes about who can stay close. That said, this wasn't an empty lane behind her. The field included experienced international hurdlers, athletes who have reached global finals, who understand pacing, and who know how to capitalize if a favorite makes even the smallest mistake. In a 400-meter hurdles race, no one is untouchable. One clipped barrier can turn control into chaos in a split second. Among the competitors were strong European and international contenders, runners capable of sub-54 performances, athletes who had built reputations as consistent, technically sound performers. They weren't expected to dominate, but they were expected to challenge, to force Bol to stay sharp through the middle part of the race. The mood before the start reflected that balance. Calm confidence from Bol. Quiet determination from her rivals. No theatrics, no overreaction, just concentration. This was a professional field, fully aware of the moment. The crowd felt it too. Stockholm has a knowledgeable athletics audience, and there was a sense of anticipation rather than surprise. People weren't asking if something special might happen, they were waiting to see how special it would be. Because when a favorite like Femke Bol steps into the blocks, the pressure doesn't disappear, it transfers. Every other athlete knows they must run the race of their life to stay relevant. And as the athletes settled into position, the tension tightened. Not from uncertainty, but from expectation. And once the gun went off, that expectation immediately began to take shape. The women's 400-meter hurdles final in Stockholm featured a strong international field, but one built very differently around its clear leader. At the center was Femke Bol, the dominant force of the event and the athlete everyone measured themselves against. Lining up alongside her was Dalila Mohammed, an Olympic champion and one of the most experienced hurdlers in the field. Known for her smooth rhythm and championship intelligence, Dalila brought credibility and tactical depth, even if she was no longer in peak world record form. Another key contender was Anna Cockrells, a technically sharp athlete with strong closing speed. Cockrells has built a reputation as a consistent finalist who can capitalize if the pace collapses late. Europe was also well represented by Leah Sprunger, a seasoned competitor with years of experience on the Diamond League circuit. Her strength lies in race control and composure, particularly through the middle hurdles. Completing the competitive lineup was Emma Zaplatilova, a former European U23 champion, still rebuilding consistency but capable of fast early sections and aggressive pacing. What made this lineup interesting wasn't just the names, it was the contrast. This was a field of athletes who knew how to race well. But Femke Bol came in to race fast. Each competitor had a different weapon, experience, technique, strength, patience, yet all of them faced the same problem once the race began, matching Bol's rhythm without breaking their own. And that contrast between styles is exactly what shaped how the race unfolded from the very first hurdle. Now when we compare the field directly to Femke Bol, the differences become technical, tactical, and psychological. Let's start with Dalila Mohammed. Dalila at her peak was known for aggressive front-running and relentless rhythm between hurdles. Her strength has always been early pressure and championship composure. But in Stockholm, the contrast was visible. Mohammed relies on experience and race intelligence, while Bol currently relies on sustained speed endurance. Femke's stride pattern remains stable deeper into the race, whereas Dalila's efficiency slightly decreases in the final 120 meters. The gap isn't about class, it's about where they are in their career cycles. Then there's Anna Cockrells. Cockrells is technically sharp and strong in the final straight. Her advantage is composure under fatigue, she doesn't panic when lactic acid builds. But compared to Bol, her mid-race acceleration isn't as decisive. Femke creates separation on hurdles 5 through 8, where Cockrells typically maintains rather than attacks. That difference in aggression through the middle phase is critical. Looking at Leah Sprunger, the comparison becomes about rhythm. Sprunger is smooth and economical, rarely making visible errors. However, her baseline pace simply doesn't match Bol's current speed. Even with flawless execution, she would need a mistake from Bol to close the gap, and that mistake never came. With Emma Zaplatilova, the contrast is developmental. Zaplatilova can attack early and run aggressively through the first half, but sustaining elite-level rhythm over the final hurdles remains the challenge. Bol, by comparison, doesn't fade, she often accelerates late. That's what separates promising contenders from dominant champions. Overall, the field had experience, strength, and credibility. But Femke Bol currently holds 3 decisive advantages. A more stable stride pattern deep into the race. Superior speed endurance over the final 120m. The psychological control of knowing she can surge late. Her rivals ran strong races. Clean races. Competitive races. Bol ran a race that changed the meeting record. And that difference isn't just about one night in Stockholm. It reflects where each athlete stands in the hierarchy of the event right now. And how difficult it is to beat someone who combines rhythm, power, and confidence at this level. From the outside, Femke Bol's victory in Stockholm can look effortless, smooth stride, clean hurdles, record time. But the reality of how hard this win was tells a very different story. This wasn't a race she could win on reputation alone. By the time Femke stepped onto the track, the pressure was already heavy. As the favorite, she carried expectation, not just to win, but to deliver something special. Every Diamond League start now comes with that invisible weight. If she runs only a good time, it's seen as ordinary. To justify her status, she has to be exceptional. Physically, the challenge was brutal. The 400-meter hurdles demands precision under exhaustion. One misjudged stride, one clipped barrier, and the rhythm collapses. Femke had to commit to an aggressive pace from the very first hurdle, knowing that any hesitation would allow experienced rivals to stay in contact. That meant pushing hard early, while still reserving enough strength for the decisive final stretch. Mentally, the difficulty was even greater. Running as the hunted changes everything. Rivals don't chase each other, they chase you. Every athlete in the field ran their race with Femke as the reference point. That forces total focus. No improvisation. No mistakes. She had to execute her race plan perfectly while blocking out the presence of elite competitors on either side. What made this victory costly was how complete it had to be. Femke couldn't ease through the middle section. She couldn't protect the lead late. She had to attack every hurdle with intent, especially between barriers 5 and 8, the most punishing part of the race. That's where fatigue peaks, lungs burn, and technique usually breaks down. Instead, she held her form. Holding form under that kind of stress isn't automatic, it's trained. It costs months of preparation, relentless repetition, and confidence built from previous battles. The final surge over the last 2 hurdles wasn't just speed, it was willpower, forcing the body to respond when it wants to slow. Winning this race didn't cost Femke Bol everything, but it cost focus, discipline, and total commitment from start to finish. And that's why the 52.11 matters. Because it wasn't gifted. It wasn't easy. It was earned under pressure. Which makes the next question even more interesting. What does a performance like this mean for the rest of her season?